Hello and welcome everyone to our final reveal video, developer update video. The final reveal of this campaign is happening in this video as well. And my name is Ryan, and I'm very lucky and very happy to introduce a well-known, famous person on the GWENT team. But I want to introduce you properly. You are a master at the game, especially with Nilfgaard. You've coined the term skillful deck manipulation as well, and you've worked extensively behind the curtains on various aspects of this expansion. So, welcome, Vlad.
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, everyone. Super happy to be here. Super excited. I know maybe some of you expected Buja and Jason to lead this dev video, so maybe to remove the elephant out of the room. Both of them are actually on vacation, so Buja actually promised to come back on the day of the release. I don't know if it's just to help us or maybe to break some havoc with this GWENT on the ladder. This remains to be seen, but yeah, I'm super excited to reveal some stuff today.
Awesome. Yeah, I think everyone's excited to find out what we've got, but we actually prepared a little bit of actually, we've got a nice buffet of topics, I would say, for the people watching. So first off, I think, please bear with us a little bit more before we get to the final reveals. We've got a few confessions to make, as you said. I'll throw it over to you, the mic.
Very interesting choice of words there.
Oh, was it? I didn't even notice. But yeah, before we get to the final reveals, one thing you wanted to touch upon was the artworks topic, because I know that it was a big topic during the reveal campaign, at least until this moment. And so, yeah, I would love to hear what you wanted to say.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to address one of the controversial topics which we saw triggered some of the community reactions. With people, in some cases, calling the revealed artworks atrocious, not fitting GWENT, like some other negative stuff was said. And I would like to start with simply admitting that we did drop the ball in some cases with some of these artworks. There is some mistakes were made, and we are making steps to avoid these situations in the future where outsourced arts are not always properly handled, and it's also related to the choice of the outsourced companies we're working with and how thorough we are in our feedback process. So definitely one thing to clarify there is that even if we sometimes working on the tight schedule and we're also trying to be reasonable with budgets, it doesn't mean that we're trying to save money by making quality lower. Quality of art in GWENT is and always will be our priority. So what I wanted to say to the community is that thank you for your feedback. As always, it only will help us to become better. Of course, I wish that everyone would be super constructive with the feedback and with the choice of words of how this is being delivered, but this is a topic for another conversation completely. In any case, we're grateful to get your thoughts on the matter, and we will improve the process to impress you even more. I think some of the artworks in these expansions are absolutely spectacular. So I hope you think so as well. And I'm super excited for the things to be revealed still.
Yeah, and I think you already touched upon it, but there are already measures in place and steps towards making sure that this quality bar is always met in the future as well. And yeah, I think we're excited to hear what you have to say. We know that art is one of the main things that really stands out in this game, so it's obviously a high priority to us to keep it that way. So now, I think for everyone watching, let's give a quick recap on what has been revealed so far. We've got 6 factions. We also revealed 1 neutral card so far, so maybe there's more to come as well. I think the first faction that we touched this time was actually Northern Realms. For the first drop, people had to wait very long and they were excited to find out what's it gonna bring, and so this time we just opened up with it also because it kind of fit the theme of this expansion very well, right?
Exactly. We actually started with Northern Realms on purpose because we knew that we want to touch on the Thanedd Coup topic, and of course mages of Aretusa were in the main focus for this expansion. And actually even with the first Once Upon a Pyre expansion, we already established that mages and spells would be a big thing for Northern Realms. We also introduced patience as a new mechanic, and the cards which we added with this expansion with the Thanedd Coup, they're building up on this theme. They're making mages stronger. They're a new spell as well, so practice makes perfect. Hopefully will make your win rate perfect. And patience also further supported by Leticia, and I think Tisaya is a very strong finisher if this setup would work. I'm really I can't wait to see her in action, and a lot of orders being reactivated in a critical moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can already envision the Dandelion clips and the videos, the clickbaity videos of, I don't know, reactivating 6 orders in one turn, and I think it's going to
There's a limit there.
Yep, exactly. There's imagination is your limit in that sense. Obviously, the artwork here was also very diverse. I think it was touched upon a lot, but one thing that I actually really like was that we've got another, I guess, artwork that is connected in some way with Leticia, and Practice Makes Perfect, of having those two perspectives on the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right. Now, the other side of this event, of the Thanedd Coup, maybe people that read the books or are into the lore know already that Nilfgaard was highly connected to it. So we've got the mighty Nilfgaard Kingdom.
Yes, Nilfgaard definitely was heavily involved, as you said, on the other side of the barricades. So with Once Upon a Pyre, we introduced Nilfgaard mages, or actually strengthened the existing mages archetype. But skillful deck manipulation, which was the main topic of the first expansion, in Thanedd Coup, we've actually switched to favorite archetype of many people, myself included, which is spies. I think with additions such as Terranova or Thanedd Turncoat and Farcart as well, spies become very spicy, actually, I would say. I think the last time where this archetype was really relevant and was really meta, like according to my memory, was around Challenger number 2 in Moshna Castle, maybe. So it was quite a long time ago when it was really exciting to play a lot of spies in the deck and doing some nasty stuff in your opponent's lines. So I'm super excited about possible interactions with these new additions. I think this group of shady characters will do a lot of mayhem in the upcoming days.
Yeah, and I think with a stats line of 4 power, 5 provision Master of Puppets maybe seems a bit simple on the one side, but I think its ability is gonna create some really amazing plays as well, and some mind games that are happening. I know that Molegion was talking a lot about how fun it was to play a game with multiple of these, because you just swap cards back and forth and it becomes a real mind game of letting it stay 1 turn longer. Which card am I gonna grab, and that kind of stuff. And I think having an extra layer to your game is always fun.
I'm really interested to try Master of Puppets and the Enslave Nilfgaard deck. I think getting it back after also stealing the opponent's bronze should be quite interesting way to irritate your opponent.
Interesting, yeah. People are going to be mad that Nilfgaard is playing more cards from them. But another faction that might collaborate with Nilfgaard during the Thanedd Coup, who can I be speaking of? It's of course the green faction, Borja's favorite faction, the Squirtle.
Yeah, with Squaretel, actually, we didn't focus specifically on the events of the Coup. Starting with Once Upon a Pyre, we went a little bit into the past of Elven race and the events in the story which were happening before Squaretel were pretty much reduced to this Commandos movement, and it's kind of a throwback back in the days where elves were still super powerful, super mighty, and of course, in terms of them wielding magic, they don't have any match on the continent, and we wanted really to signify this with very strong focus on spell casting. If that would be a spelling contest within GWENT universe, I know which faction would do this. So spell-at-hells definitely are the best. And with these new additions, we pretty much explored every possible interaction which you can have with spells, right? Like we have cards which are being cloned when you're playing spells. We have cards which are cloning spells. We have spells which are turning into units. So
we have units that play spells. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. So I'm really interested to see how it all played out, but for sure, there will be a lot of fireballs and lightnings flying around after these cards would hit the ladder.
Yeah, I think I'm particularly excited for this faction because I used to love playing the old Spell-at-hell and just spamming spells, dropping some huge cards at the end. I think especially Gord is going to profit from these multiplying spells and units that are multiplying spells, as you said. And I don't know, I don't want to give away too much, and I think Malegion and the other designers have been very patient in letting people figure out stuff, because if I was in that team and if I saw the things that they saw, I would post them on Twitter immediately once those cards get revealed, because there are some crazy combos and point swings that are gonna see the light of the day, as you said. So excited for it.
It is a bit ironic, Ryan, that Gord being dwarf is benefiting so much from all the spell casting that Elves is doing. It just occurred to me that the responsibilities within these factions are not very evenly spread.
True. Very true. We'll have to have a word with those guys then. Alright, jumping to the next faction. We've got a faction that was very well received actually on the reveal day, especially the art. People were mad that Skellige is getting the good cards again, but some things never change. But yeah, I think it's understandable, because these artworks as well tell so many stories connected, especially to the first drop. And yeah, what do you have to say?
Exactly. I really like what we so far have achieved, and of course the Skellige story within Price of Power set is not over, so we still have a few interesting additions to these factions, which is a topic for the future conversations. But I really like the fact that with Once Upon a Pyre we introduced a few druids, we hinted at some weather interactions, and there was also a strong hint about this dark cult which Skellige units are involved. And right now with Melusine being revealed, finally, I think all the jigsaw falling into place, and it's become clear who was the object of this devotion and these rituals and all this dark magic, alchemist stuff. And I think you're absolutely right. The art for Skellige in this expansion is absolutely spectacular and scary as well. Monster faction probably should be jealous of these artworks. They're pretty terrifying.
Good transition. Definitely Melusine, also a character I do not want to meet personally, and that also goes for our next faction. As you said, the monsters equally terrifying in some sense, especially those bronze cards. I don't want to look at that.
Yeah, this is a nightmare fuel, right? I really like what artists did there, and this dark fantasies are just blowing my mind for sure. What I also excited about the reveal of this faction, specifically Bloody Mistress / Carnivore, is the fact that so many people correctly guessed like this little snippet of faction text on the website, where before cards were revealed, there was written that behold a very special guest joining the fun, and she brings presents too.
Yep.
So a lot of people on Reddit correctly guessed that we're talking about Garnicore and her roots. So yeah, kudos to you who made the correct guess. I think Garnicore is a perfect addition to this established group of witches gathering on the Sabbath. So can't wait to see her in action, actually.
Yep, and I'm excited as well to see how these bronze cards and the gold cards make it into decks. Maybe some more often, some more specifically to very specific decks. But anyways, I'm excited for it. Also, obviously, always love to see when we get one of those old leader arts back. It's not visible right here, but Garnicore obviously fan favorite as well. And yeah, possibly not the last we've seen of her. Spoilers there. All right. Last faction that is yet to be completed as well. Obviously talking about Syndicate, and as you can see, there are still 2 slots to fill here, and we'll get to that very soon now, as this is the last faction. But we already saw 2 cards, the Scoundrel and the Scapegoat. Also both very interesting in the sense that Scapegoat now is a very good portal target, for example. So you can add those 7 points for free, I guess. Not for free, but like for the 4 provision, because the deploy is not going to activate with portal. And even if it does activate, you can heal the card very nicely by just damaging units with bounty on it, for example.
Yeah, I really like that all Syndicate cards in previous and in these expansions are supporting a bounty archetype. This is a bit of a spoiler because we still yet to reveal the 2 remaining cards, but as you can see with Scoundrel, we're pretty much strengthened the team, and I think also lore-wise this is a very interesting addition to the game. I'm really appreciate the story of the way which we're telling with this card. So for example, Scoundrel are kind of following up on the events depicted on Hysteria card, I believe, from first expansion drop, and there will be more examples like that, which are continuing the story of Witchfinders.
Yes, so I don't know if you're ready, but I think the people are definitely ready to,
drum roll,
as you said, experience more of the universe we're building here. And with that, no further ado, let's take a look at our first reveal of the day, and it is one of the remaining Syndicate cards. We've got Confession Extractor. Definitely a very grim looking device. It's a special card, a crime, and it gives you 4 coins when you play it, so profit 5. And then, while in your graveyard, damages an enemy unit by 1 whenever you place a bounty on it 3 times. So it's got that counter 3. Costs 5 provision, so you immediately get 5 profit for the 5 cost. And on top of that, really nice synergy with the bounty archetype.
Exactly. Like just looking at this device, I think it immediately answers the question why it is a crime. It shouldn't be legal for sure, but Syndicate likes things like that, likes things which are not strictly legal. This is a really interesting card. I think it's kind of the alternative to Eavesdrop, right? Which also gives you 5 coins and also costs 5 provisions, but obviously, with this card, a very strong synergy with the bounty archetype. And I think what's interesting here is also that in Syndicate, we already saw some examples of graveyard interactions. So Flying Redanian could be summoned from there, and Borsodi Brothers used to do it as well. However, never before cards in the graveyard could affect like what's going on the battlefield by staying there. And I think Compassion Extractor is a very interesting mechanic in this regard, because not only you're profiting from it, but also it makes it easier for you to collect future bounties.
Yep.
With it. And considering all the cards which are either giving bounty in this set, or damaging units with bounties, this one seems to be really powerful for provision cost. So I hope that it's going to see a lot of play in this particular archetype.
Yeah, and I think it also fits Syndicate as a faction pretty well, because the, I guess, point potential or the the immediate reward is kind of like, if you break it down very roughly, it's an 8 for 5, right? We've got the profit 5 and the 3 damage on top, but obviously splitting it up like this and maneuvering it in a faction like Syndicate actually increases the point potential by a lot, I feel like, because 5 coins can be worth a lot more than just 5 points on the board, and also damaging something immediately once it gets bounty and helping you achieve other goals very nicely also has some high potential. Alright, so I think that was the last bronze card. That means there is one more gold card left for Syndicate. So let's take a look at our next reveal. And, ooh, who's that grim looking fellow? And ooh, those dogs are also very, very grim. Anyways, it is IGNATIUS HALE, a human witch hunter. And it's got 12 points for 6 provision. So that ability must be spicy. And it reads, deploy. Damage this unit by its tribute cost, and the tribute is actually 9. So damage itself by 9, okay. But the tribute reads, cancel the deploy ability. Whenever you place a bounty on an enemy unit, reduce this unit's tribute cost by 1. So, okay, how does this work, Vlad?
Right, so first of all, we definitely saw this character before. So it's not the first time we're depicting him on the artwork, so it's nice to see him back. When it comes to the ability, yeah, this is an interesting one.
I don't know if it's so nice to see him back, sorry.
Not so nice? Okay, well, to each his own. Well, when it comes to his ability, yes, like it's clearly a negative deploy effect, so if you're not careful, you won't get a lot of value from this card, so it requires definitely some setup. However, I think canceling the deployability, or at least reducing the damage we'll receive, is quite easy, not only in the deck which is focused on bounties, obviously, like everything that we revealed so far from Price of Power would definitely would decrease the cost of tribute for this card, and because completed bounty is also a steady source of income for you, even letting paying the reasonable tribute cost for this unit doesn't seem like a bad deal to me, considering that you can in most cases get money back. But if you really want to play dirty, there's also a potential combo with Madame Louisa.
Ooh.
Right, so canceling the tribute requirements completely would essentially make him 12 for 6 unit if he's played after Louisa Order is activated. So I think there are many options for this card, for this unit to be played, even outside of the strictly bounty focused deck.
Yep, and that all for a very specific 6 provision, right above the bronze line, so actually very cheap for potentially a lot of points. We're gonna see how that impacts the deck building of our bounty decks. Moving on to our final reveal of the EP 7.2, the Thanedd Coup drop. One of my favorite artworks, I'll just say that, and let's take a look at BEARIFICATION. A 6 provision spell, neutral in fact, our second neutral card of the set, and it transforms an artifact into an elder bear. So as you can see in the artwork, this fellow right there looks a bit Nilfgaardian to me, is turning into a bear, or is it the chair behind him? I don't know, we'll have to find out. But if it's on your side of the battlefield, it actually gets boosted by 4. Okay, so you can basically target an enemy artifact, right, to just turn it into an elder bear, or you can give your useless artifacts on your side a little bit of a boost, right?
Yeah, this card is super flexible. Actually, I love absolutely everything about it, from art to the name to the ability. When it comes to the ability, it feels like the old bomb heaver in reverse in a way. It's just like a much better and much more interesting variation of it. So instead of just putting body on your side of the board and removing artifact on another, you actually, as you said, you're the choice between removing the enemy artifact, but at the cost of boosting the power and giving points to your opponents, or of course, if you have the artifact of your own, which you no longer need, maybe this is a scenario which you already evolved to the ultimate and you don't need it anymore. Maybe it's Megascope, which already outlived its value. So getting an elder bear, not beer, and boost him by 4 doesn't sound like a bad deal to me at all. This is pretty cool. I also wanted to mention that when Legion 1 month ago, also on the dev video, when the buff to Elder Bear was announced, I think nobody expected that this might have some kind of a follow-up, some kind of effect. Just like this guy on the picture, I think completely didn't expect that this chair, or maybe it's not chair, maybe it's like, a fur on the chair, I'm not sure, will turn into this nice looking teddy bear.
True, very true. And I guess Eldain is no longer the only card that is turning useless artifacts into some juicy points.
Oh, that's true as well.
Alright, so that was the final reveal. Pretty exciting stuff. Now, obviously, tomorrow is the day where this drops. There's so much content coming tomorrow. We've got another patch as well. So there's a few balance patches, balance changes, and I think we wanted to highlight just a few of them, like 3 that we wanted to talk about, because they do support the cards that we've introduced so far, and I think there's some nice synergies that people can find. Patch notes will be coming tomorrow with the patch itself, because we didn't want to spoil the new journey. Speaking of, make sure
is coming.
Make sure to finish those levels, get to the grind, get that cosmetic that you want for Triss, because her time on the road is coming to an end. She got to take a few, I don't know, maybe some rest, tell some people about the adventures she had, and it's time for something else to step into the spotlight.
I think very special. Yes, like when it comes to the new journey, can't share anything yet. Let's wait till Tuesday, but I hope you will be impressed.
It's not much longer, probably less than 24 hours by now, so yeah, right around the corner. Just as these 3 balance changes that we wanted to highlight. The first one was actually Northern Realms. Northern Realms, a ability that people have been talking a lot about is Stockpile, and its ability has been changed, and it now reads Order, spawn a volunteer on an allied row, right? 2 points, nice. Then reduce the cooldown of Northern Realms units in that row by 1. So the whole row gets a cooldown reduction of 1, and you can do that 3 times. So it has 3 charges. So spawning 3 volunteers and reducing the cooldown of a row 3 times by 1, potentially.
Yeah, I think after the rework, the renewed ability of Stockpile was a little bit clunky and difficult to use to get the full value out of it. So these requirements for adjacent units was a little bit difficult to set up. So I think with this change, what I hope to see is that it will be much more straightforward. and it still works with the archetype relying on cooldown. So a lot of siege weapons would benefit from being played with the stockpile abilities, but also volunteer being spawned on the allowed row. I think it's in some Northern Realms that could be nice. Maybe it will help you with your ship to produce even more volunteers, for example. Maybe you will just need additional body for your future book on the row. I don't know, but I think there are many implications. Also crew, right?
Mm-hmm,
So many implications of how this going to be used. So let's see if stockpile will see it more on the ladder after this change.
All right, now Squirtle also had one interesting change. I think it was hinted at actually because of a small reveal that happened on our EP 7.1, so the first drop we had. You can still check out all the cards, and there was a small provision change visible there, and it's actually Vanadine or Vanadine, however you want to pronounce its name. It's up to you, but its provision got changed from 8 to 7, so a little bit cheaper now, and the ability also got a buff, a very good buff in my understanding, because now you can move up to 2 cards from your hand to the bottom of your deck and then get waylays for how many cards you basically mulliganed away, which means you're a bit more flexible in that sense. If you have a better card or a better hand than expected, you can now reduce the amounts of swaps.
Exactly. Maybe there are just some situations in which you don't need 2 waylays and you only need 1, and that this is the perfect spot for you. So now you should have this opportunity, and maybe you don't want to waste a really valuable card which you drawn. So I think along with the provision change, that makes him a little bit more viable and definitely much more flexible choice.
Yeah, and obviously still has the extra passive ability of spawning an Elven Deadeye on the row if you play a waylay, so that's still there, and creating extra elves, swarming elves. And one more change, we've got a neutral card. Surrender got the tactic category added to it, and also its provision changed from 8 to 7, so a little bit cheaper and a little bit more useful in I guess the Nilfgaard combo maybe that uses tactics.
Nilfgaard Enslave is definitely a great target deck for this card now. I think tactics a popular choice, but not exactly a top tier deck for a while. With the addition of Surrender, I believe it's maybe one of the tools that faction really needed. So like White Punishment was kind of missing in the whole array of tactics available. So with this addition at the discounted provision cost, I would definitely run it. So 10 out of 10 would recommend to put it in your Enslaved deck.
10 out of 10 would always surrender. Okay, all right. We've been talking for about half an hour. I think we've got a little bit of a fun reveal at the end to top things off and to give people a nice thing to look forward to until tomorrow. Before we get to there, I still want to obviously thank everyone for watching and especially supporting us during times where, for example, right now Vlad is in the office. I'm still working from home. We're creating this content in trust in the technology that we're using and on the internet that we're relying on. So hopefully that went well nicely. And yeah, thank you so much for bearing with us. There it is again. The bear jokes, oh my goodness, you haven't heard any of them yet, so be happy. But we've got some products to show, and I think you wanted to actually start with this one right here. What do we have?
Yes, so we were looking at the Open 3 Summer Bundle. So as you remember, all Opens this year, they're all dedicated to different seasons. We actually started with the winter one, then it was followed up by Open 2 with the spring theme, and right now we're in August and this is a summer time, so we were finally catch up and I think both vanities here are looking pretty exciting. Like the sun is not exactly a Nilfgaard great sun, but I would still approve it. And the board is even cooler. I mean, the spring one was already pretty beautiful, and it was a nice choice for people that don't like super dark, grim, gritty battlegrounds, and they were looking for something a little bit more lighthearted and optimistic. And I think summer is even more blooming in this regard. Of course, there's still corpse lying on somewhere on the side, and you'll be able to see how you can interact with all the active with all the interactive elements on the board. Yeah, I'm super excited to equip it. And of course, as always, 30% from the proceeds from sales of these items are going directly to boost the prize pools of the respective tournaments. So with the Open Free actually coming later this month, on 21st, 22nd, this is your chance to contribute and support GWENT esports by buying and these beautiful products.
Awesome. And yeah, I think the corpse might actually be a human corpse. So maybe if you're playing an elves deck, Squirtle in general, you might be very happy in the surrounding, very calm and soothing surrounding, as you said. Maybe not so calm and soothing, but definitely also very interesting is the next thing. It is a Gurney Korra skin, but with a little twist, as you can see, because we've got a human form. I think on the card that was revealed last week, she's called the Bloody Mistress. And yeah, this is another monster leader for your monster faction and decks. And you can, well, show off in style, obviously. I mean, look at that robe.
Yeah, I mean, Bloody Mistress is kind of another aspect of Gurney Korra, which is familiar to us, starting from her introduction in Thronebreaker. So maybe in this image she doesn't look as scary and twisted as in her monster form, but like Gurney Korra character is kind of open for interpretation. Like many people have different tales and stories about how how she came to be, how she turned into this monstrosity. So like some people believe that she's this crawling monstrosity with these terrible leeches all around her, but some people are believing at the same time that she's just a regular old lady, almost regular, almost harmless, but there's still something sinister even about her human form. Don't you agree?
Oh yes.
Like this doll that she's holding.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a very I don't think it's a children toy.
Oh no, I wouldn't trust her. No, not at all. Not at all. I think a character that I would trust with my life, because he never was mean to anybody, is Gascon. If we're staying in the Thronebreaker theme as well. He's also coming back to the party. It's going to be available as well in the shop with the next upcoming update. And then I think the highlight of our little product showcase is actually the combo pack for the next expansion drop. So should we take a look?
Yes, absolutely. Bring it on.
All right, there it is.
Ooh. So what do we see here? So if you remember, for the first expansion for Once Upon a Pyre, we had a game board, and this time we actually have a card back in the middle. And of course, this picture is static, so it doesn't really represent like the full glory here. But the card back is in reality is actually animated. So this is even cooler. And I think it's called Jester card back. So this metallic person in the center, he's kind of wearing this Jester cap, but to me this is this motif is clearly related to all this witchfinders business, kind of tortures and different nasty things. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting concept here. So, but I'm sure some people are into this stuff, so they would be excited about getting this a little bit kinky cardback, I would say. Oh,
for sure. I haven't seen the animated version yet, but I can't wait. I think it's gonna I know it's gonna look great. Also, you've got a little look at the portraits down below as well that you're getting in this pack. The Bloody Mistress, Tisaya, and the other main characters of the factions. I think people that, I don't know, that really love one of the characters might find joy in using a very specific avatar, which is awesome. I like the colored backgrounds.
I really like Unicorn's face expression. Not impressed. Just
exactly, like, all right. No. How do you get it? I mean, it's going to be available tomorrow as well. If you already have the full combo
expansion pass,
the expansion pass, you're going to get this for free tomorrow as well in your little shoot post box. And yeah, if you're waiting to find out which cards come out first before you make a purchase, now you know everything you need to know. And tomorrow's the day of our Thanedd Coup card expansion drop. I'm excited.
Can't wait. I mean, these cards are absolutely fantastic, and I think the meta is going to be redefined once again. So I'm really curious about the new decks which will emerge as a result, and yeah, just can't wait. Please, is there a way to accelerate the flow of time? We will end up already in the post-release.
To skip forward?
That would be amazing.
Oh, I don't know. There's so much to look forward to. We've got a new journey coming. We've got a new expansion dropping. We've got a new patch coming with some changes. And obviously also last week, Thursday, Boja had a talk with Albert as well. So there's also draft changes coming. There's a lot of stuff in the works currently that we can't talk about, but there's so much GWENT coming. So much good stuff.
Best August in history of GWENT.
Pretty sure.
Probably.
100%. Can't wait. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Vlad. It was a pleasure to talk with you and go over all of these cards. Yep. And obviously, thank you all so much for watching. As Vlad said, we wish we could skip the time until tomorrow, but it's not long. Less than 24 hours until all of that content is finally in your game. And yeah, maybe play one last game, finish your Triss journey contracts, and that's it from us. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll sign off with a nice bye.
Bye.